Are you a conscious leader or a visionary or a thought leader in this world? And would you like to create some of your own content in collaboration with us? If so, please head over to theatlasofconsciousness.com to check out more of our video and production content. We would love to work with you to get more of these new Earth messages out into the world. Thank you once again for listening, and now on to the episode. Hello, and welcome to another Atlas Emotion Series podcast. My name is Ella. So, over the past few months, we have been globally facing the coronavirus. And for me personally, I feel like what I've been witnessing is how swiftly powerlessness, hysteria, and fear can go viral. But what if this virus were an opportunity, just like every other aspect of our lives, an opportunity to ground the hysteria into a deep sense of ourselves and to be more rooted in the power of our earth and the wisdom that she holds, allowing our true power to emerge. To recognize that perhaps this virus or any sense of powerlessness may be born out of our own inner feeling of distance from our true selves, that is who we truly are, that depth and that wisdom. And what if on the other side of all of this, we are ultimately learning that it is time for true power to go viral? And what does true power going viral even look like? Well, let's just talk about One Direction for a second. I've been really immersed in interviews with these boys and also documentaries. These young boys who got together through X Factor a number of years ago express the nature of positive hysteria and true power. So true power rides the wheels of excitement. And they really are a center point for light, joy, and total play. They mess around with life, they take it lightly, they live doing what they love, which is singing and just being themselves. Simon Cowell, who is a record executive and the TV personality of X Factor who put them together, talked about how there was this small group of British fans who became a huge group of British girls, who then turned Europe into huge fans. And then America stepped in. So in the space of months, fans got the entire planet to support One Direction. And there was this spread of positive hysteria that was almost unprecedented. In this documentary, a neuroscientist then steps in and states that as soon as Directioners, that is, fans of One Direction, listen to the music and find it pleasurable, the neurochemical dopamine is released and provides feelings of joy and happiness, that is, strong pleasure. So these girls are not crazy, they are just excited. So the One Direction experience, the experience of the Beatles, of any major artist, really kind of is just revealing this mass positivity that is available for us every single day. It's revealing simply what's already at play, that connection to the power available in excitement when it is grounded in our daily lives, as opposed to what the virus is currently revealing, which is mass hysteria and fear when it is ungrounded and connected to ourselves. So just the other day, I closed my eyes for an hour, consciously choosing to tune in and just listen to the trees. And I could hear the frequency that was always there. Joy, air, freedom. The feeling that simply by existing I was connected to all of things. And my effect was instantaneously felt everywhere. My connection to life was always instantaneously felt and experienced. So true power and connection is just that dropping in to be able to feel and hear what is already available. The effortlessness of you completely as you are, as yourself. And in this episode, I'll be sharing stories, tools, and tips to tune deeper, to stay connected to our own inner sun and that effortlessness of who you truly are, to learn what is here to learn from this virus and from all senses of powerlessness, and to transform this all potentially into true power. I cannot wait to join you in this episode, all about power. This is the Atlas Emotion series, where we share edge of the earth ideas for a new world. Hello, and welcome to another Atlas Emotion series podcast. My name is Ella. Today's podcast is both powerful and about the topic power. I actually received the topic of this podcast about a month ago, but since then, as well as finding and facing my own inner senses of powerlessness, we've been confronting as a world a global sense of powerlessness, where we are all facing now the coronavirus. So I've had to, on a daily basis, be facing my personal feelings of feeling fear and powerlessness, as well as these global feelings of powerlessness. So fascinatingly, this podcast is all about how, in the face of perhaps one of the great challenges of our world, yet again, we find a sense of power within. This podcast came to me as an idea. I heard that this year was all about finding true stability and the strength within. And I've been coming to learn that power is just an energy. And like the sun, it can be tuned into. True power resides within us. So what is power? And how does that relate to everything we are facing now on the planet? Well, power takes many forms, and the important thing to recognize is, when am I sourcing my true power or my true energy from the inside, that is the infinite ocean, or energy from the outside? We all hold and are suns within each of us. How can we recognize, stay strong, connected, and tuned to that power? Everything that we are now facing on the global stage is asking us even greater to stay tuned to that true powerful sun that we each hold within ourselves. Today is going to be about all the facets of holding that power within ourselves and bringing that forward in a life and a time that may at times be very challenging. Today we're going to be talking about stability. That is, when we are constantly facing powerlessness, how do we choose power? There are small steps and there are big steps in the direction of a deeper self-power. When I look at my life, where in my life am I choosing insignificance or powerlessness? We'll be looking at the nature of will and power, adhering to our will, fortifying and staying committed to that, and allowing our power to emerge from our own fortification. And then there's this idea of the bedrock, the ancient wisdom. We are tuning into our power at such a level that we are really fortifying the roots of a huge tree, a tree that cannot be swayed by the wind, by potentially even storms, so fortified and rooted in its power that it can hold that space, no matter what may come to it. So as we go through today's episode, and as you find yourself facing your daily challenges, our current collective challenge, and whatever challenges might come, I want you to remember one thing that you can carry with you to stay attuned to your own inner sun, your own inner core. And that is, my only job is to let go of the fear. So let's talk about stability. So as I mentioned earlier this year, I heard of this podcast, Power. I also heard that I would be learning about true stability. I felt like that was so exciting to me, because stability to me meant that my highest vision was what was true in my life, and that I would be able to stay in that highest vision for my life throughout my entire life. For me, stability meant that my passion and my biggest dreams in life would be enough to hold me and support me. For many years, I had been consumed by fears, struggles financially, chasing after money, and not believing in the grace of my voice, my vision, and my talents to bring forward everything I needed. I've held a vision for a property and aligned income to be received in grace. And this feeling of true stability meant that I get to choose what brings me purpose, love, passion, and to stay stable in that. That all aspects of my life in that place, safety, security, and health, would be supported. As we face these global challenges, true stability means that no matter what others may be believing or experiencing, we can stay true to what brings us passion, health, and love, and live from that place of power. It also means that in our own personal experience, we can stay rooted in our own stability and connection to power, no matter what we may face. How do we fortify and stay committed to this? So what I've come to learn is this deeper and deeper nature of fortification and commitment to what you truly align to and believe, in spite of what you may be facing. So that's fortification and commitment to the highest and truest place. If that vision of my dream life is my personal son, that is, that I can be healthy and prosperous and gracefully attract all that I need to be supported, how can I remain aligned and stable in that always and hold that? As this month has been rolling on, I've basically been learning the lessons to stay fortified to this vision, to my own health, to my own growth and my own sense of power. But what I've been facing, like everyone else, is the growth of the coronavirus, which started small and it's now engulfing the globe. I found that my lessons of fortification became deeper and deeper, that as the world faces a global epidemic, it is still possible for me to find every day my own inner sun. So let's talk about powerlessness. Before finding that sun, first I had to face the state of powerlessness. So like pretty much everyone on this planet, I've been afraid of the virus. I've had to face so many things that are full on. But what I've found is my way of choosing power in this experience is to choose to see that this virus is an opportunity to face the fears that are arising in me. So earlier this month, I watched Beautiful Boy, which is this incredible film that has Steve Carell in it, and it's all about drug addiction. And so much was stirred inside of me. It's quite harsh at times. It's about the relationship between a dad and a son as the son moves through a really gripping drug addiction. And as I watched the film, I was thinking, why am I watching this? Why is this here? And I realized that, like this son that was addicted to drugs, that I potentially had an addiction to powerlessness. And in that moment, I chose to see it differently. I chose to notice the addiction, my addiction to powerlessness, this story, these beliefs, these feelings that I've been running through my bones since I was very young. So from that day on, for a little while, I started with the tool. Every night I would write the powerless story of my day. And then I would write the powerful story of my day. And so by having these two stories in front of me, I was able to choose and focus on my story of power. And so through that choice, I was able to create a new story of power. It was my focus that allowed me to create a new story of power for myself. I came to recognize beliefs that I was holding, that it was my mind's view that nobody cares about me, that people wouldn't support my happiness. And in relationship to the virus, I believed I had no power over something so physical. But what if we were to choose power? What if we were to really choose power? So what is this virus about? When I allow myself to choose power, I can tune into it and get an understanding of what it has to teach me. When I tuned in, I heard the words, the virality of powerlessness, the virality of fear. And the powerful story in this is there's an opportunity to transform that into the virality of true power and the true connection to our own inner sons. So what is this pandemic really about? To me, it's about virality and vitality. That is what we've seen in the past, is the experience of fear going viral. But what if we can allow true self-power to go viral? And that is the opportunity that can emerge out of this virus. What I saw was that in the past, a powerful idea of harmony would get blown out of the water by fear. So often this is what we witness in the media and across the world. It's almost like these beautiful matches of light being blown out constantly. But the feeling I had was at this stage in our growth and evolution, a lightning match of power can ignite a whole sea of light. That is what is available as an opportunity from facing what we see within ourselves that this virus is bringing up. I also heard that we develop diseases because we're not being seen. What if this virus is here to expel things? That is, it's here to expel beliefs or ways of being that are not aligned and not are rooted in true power, true love, and a true ancient wisdom. That is, that old fears would take flight or go viral in the past, but what if it's allowing the space, clearing the path for ancient wisdom to take root? That is, it's a collective letting go. How do we face this collective letting go? So consider this. It is within the distance from yourself, within yourself, that the virus or any form of powerlessness dances. So it's basically about recognizing the distances you hold from yourself to your true sense of self. What if it's giving us the opportunity to truly choose power? Instead of running away, what if we face the fears within us that contribute to and create it? That is the hysteria, the energy. It's an opportunity to face what feels powerless in me. What if it's an opportunity to recognize the undernourishing experiences or beliefs that don't feel good, that we're choosing to feed ourselves with? Perhaps we don't believe we have any power to choose our experiences. Perhaps it's an opportunity to recognize the relationships where we may be compromising our own inner power. Perhaps attachments to the reactions or to the beliefs of others. And what does the food of my most powerful experiences taste like? Nourishing, satisfying, full, strong in my fortification with self. What if we can close that gap to our inner self by facing what is coming up in us? So let's talk all about cultivating power. How do we cultivate and fortify that relationship? Come closer to ourself. Close the gap for these fears to take hold and take flight. How do we fortify our relationship with our own inner son, particularly in the face of a population gone wild? And how do we stay with our son? How do we choose to continue to be nourished in our passion, in our love, and immune to what may be externally occurring? The immunity piece is so vital and important. And if you want to talk about affirmations, to say I am immune is a really powerful and incredible affirmation to allow yourself to stay connected. So power is space and its focus. I've found over this month that I've had to face over and over these challenges, that creating that space to align to my son and remain focused on that all day through prayers, affirmations, and meditation has been what has allowed me to tap into my inner power. So that is the ability to move gracefully between my masculine intention and the feminine receiving of the answer. I found that every single small step counts because every step is energy infused with intention. So the cumulative effect of every small step in the direction of big change is lightning speed big change and miracles in our time, in a time when this is so needed. So I've found it's not one thing to stay connected to our sun, but it's finding my own personal power over and over and over again. And also recognizing that these are the important energetic lessons so that I can share these with others and live these. First, I have to learn them in myself. First, I have to learn that there is an opportunity even in such a great challenge. So what about the big steps in our life? We always talk about choosing love. But what about choosing power? True power takes strength to align to your conviction and to your will. I want to talk all about this, all about will and power. So basically in my journey, at points I've learned, sometimes in very harsh ways, how to stay aligned to my true deep will and therefore my true power. As some of you may know, many years ago, I was living in a harsh place and I was constantly running fears through my mind that I wouldn't move out of it because I just didn't believe that I had the money and that things would align for me. But I hit a point where I just knew that I had to find that will and conviction within me to move on. And so I took a leap and I stayed aligned to that will. I said to myself over and over and over that I have to just keep trusting that it's coming forward to support me. So I use this story because I want to talk about the depth and the need, to be honest, and the power of our own will and our own alignment to our will. And I'm going to talk about my business coach, Giselle Gamby, who had been my business coach for years, but more accurately, I would like to call her my power coach because she has an ability to tune in so deeply that she was able to support me to release and witness what has been in the way of me seeing, being, and living my personal power, and actually truly believing in my personal power. Over many years, I've found that I just kept facing failure after failure after failure across a bunch of different relationships and creative endeavors. And I had a session with her about this, and she helped me to witness a critical difference. That is a shift in my focus. I needed to focus on telling stories to change our world from the inside out, as opposed to the focus that I was holding, which was on needing another to have my power. This is such a vital and incredible statement, and it has changed the course of everything. Because I began to see, when was I needing the outside world to change, to have my power, instead of trusting and tuning in to that power from the inside out. And I began to ask, what if no one or no thing could truly steal my power away? So this is the critical difference in relationship to our world. It's the collective shift of our focus on controlling the outside world, no matter what might be happening, to finding what has created this within, or how can I transcend this within myself? So they're the vital statements. Instead of fear and reaction, what has created this within me, and how can I transcend this within myself? That's the difference. The ability to stay attuned to your own sun and to face what's challenging you within yourself. I want to give you an interesting example of actually this interview I was watching, which was between a robot and Billie Eilish, the pop singer. And there was this amazing question that the robot asked. Who has consumed so much of your power in one go? And I just thought that question was so relevant to what I was exploring and so amazing. And I found that it really highlighted to me in my life who or what was consuming my power. That is, that I was placing so much focus on that was outside of me. And then to forgive those elements of myself, to forgive those people, to allow that energy to transform, to create space. There was this day I was having a huge meditation on the beach because I was feeling so alone. I was feeling so much like other people definitely had my power. If only things would change, if only they were different. And all I yearned for really was to be with someone. And I just wanted to spend some time with someone. I took this big meditation, and when I went to the grocery store, I just dropped in to get some groceries, and this friend called after me, and I turned around and she invited me over for dinner. And that need that I had was filled. And I believe that need was filled because I chose to find forgiveness in that space for what was happening outside of me. As the month rolled on, and as I faced more fears with the virus, I heard the thought, what if I'm perfectly safe? Imagine that thought. What if I'm perfectly safe? It came so remarkably to me that it was so gentle, but yet it is so, so powerful. And this is one of the phrases I heard about power, that power is the lightest touch. It's the most profound message with the lightest touch. And then I heard, it may take some practice to remember you're not sick, but you'll get there. So when I heard that, I also felt like it was beautiful because it was this reminder to me to not continually focus on, I'm getting sick, I'm getting sick, I'm getting sicker. And this doesn't have to just be about the virus. This is about every aspect of our relationships and our life on this planet. Maybe the relationship to finances or others around you. It may take some practice to remember you're not sick, but you'll get there. That is, we are truly perfect and healthy in every moment. And what we need is only to stay focused on that. So what has developed for me over the month are these tools to truly access that personal power within ourselves and to truly transcend the illusion that's around us. The first thing to remember is that we are just looking at ourselves. So when I look at the virus, what do I see in me? And it's all about those choices of how do we see this, our consistent frequency choices. Is it in control of us, or is it here to serve us in some way? If it has been manifest from a disconnection to self, that is a viral belief that we have no power, then we also have the power to transform that disconnection and allow it to ripple out from us to the rest of the world. Because as I said, that thought, the virus is born within the distance from yourself, within yourself. Powerlessness is born within the distance from yourself, within yourself. So come to trust in the building of your frequency within. Just become present to the energy that is growing within you, because it's all just thoughts of the mind. Meditate. Face it. What does it bring up in you? And it's all about building that immunity so you don't need to attract this experience again, making your cells feel whole as opposed to sick or attacked by a virus. And the virus can be any aspect of our lives that feel powerless. So not going over something, running away from it, but going inward and truly facing it. And asking your body, what frequency does it need right now? Strength, peace, or love? And you can tune into that. And you can imagine that moving through your body to allow yourself to feel more immune and be more immune and grow that strength within you. So tune into that frequency to bring it forward. I'll give you an example. So I was on a train and I was feeling a lot of pain in my stomach, in my gut. And I just started tuning into it and asking, what was this pain about? And the pain was about having no way forward or not feeling like I was expressing enough. So I started to tune into the pain and wash it with this blue light as if from my throat to express to it that it is safe to express. And I started repeating the affirmation, I am expressing. I am expressing. It is safe for me to express. And pretty much immediately after that, I received a message with a new potential client to be working with, where we would be sharing both of our messages. So it was an incredibly powerful reply to the choice to feel and assert that I am fully expressed. I want to express the power of the growth of power. As I trace back through my 5 years since I opened up to all of this wisdom, where I started, I would say very ridiculously ungrounded, ridiculously attached to everything around me, what other people believed, other belief systems. I was so concerned about what other people thought, and I was frightened all the time. Over time, what I've learned, sometimes with some very harsh lessons, is that it's all inside of me. That ability to trust in myself, to feel amazing, to feel that energy. And I've felt more and more of that powerful energy grow within me. So at the beginning of last year, my housemate and I were having a conversation. We were tuning into our frequencies and getting a sense of where our energy was at. And when we tuned into mine, it was like I had these ideas and these frequencies that were so high vibe. But what we saw was that it was almost like a telegraph pole where there were these lines of high frequency and they were very fragile. There was no body or substance to these wires. And so my work over the year was to continue letting go of the fears that I was holding on to that was making it so challenging for me to stay rooted and grounded in that really high energy. And now, after so much growth, when I tune into my body and my energy state, I just feel so much fuller. That high frequency energy, those ideas have become the way that I live my life, have become the energy state in which I live my life. And that has only come over a lot of hard inner work. But I have seen over this time that it's truly possible. And it just requires consistency and diligence and commitment to that part of yourself that knows that I'm healthy, I am prosperous, and I am fully powerful. So the solution is to be even more grounded and solid in yourself and the sense of who you are. That is, listen to your body. That's all you have to do. And tune into the land. Over the last weekend, I took a trip up to my healer friend's farm, and it's basically this incredible property and this incredible land where I had the space to put my feet on the ground and feel that real sacredness of the land that was around me and the immense capacity that it had to hold me and support the transformation, well beyond the fears that I had been carrying in the past. And this is where the ancient wisdom comes in, what the indigenous once knew and have been trying to share with us, that true power transcends all creation. There is this ability to know that you are connected to this immense and beautiful, powerful thing. It is available everywhere around us. It's in the sun, it's in the moon, the mountains, the horizon. What is so needed on the planet right now is the ability to tune into that, tune into the sun, into the mountains, and feel that ancient power, and that you are not separate from that. You can bring that through, and you can hold that through whatever challenges you might face. And I guess the more challenging they are, the more you are just being called to tune into that ancient wisdom. So it's this fortification and this commitment to basically to Gaia. And the way that I did this on the land was that I tuned into a mountain and I asked Gaia to support me, to feel so strong and in my power through what was happening in the outside world. Strong in my power like a mountain. And then what I heard was to protect that power within me like I have protected my art. Over the years, I've chosen to be an artist, and that I've chosen to pursue a career that was so untraditional in filmmaking. And I've come up against so much resistance, so many people saying to me it was the wrong choice. But I knew and I believed in myself and that it was what I was supposed to be doing. And I just protected it. And I chose to move forward regardless of what others said. So I held this commitment to my sense of self despite others' wavering beliefs, but also my own wavering beliefs. All the doubts that I would feel within me, I would still be able to find this deeper place that knew it's the right thing for me to be pursuing film. And that's what I'm saying is possible about our own personal sun. No matter how many doubts we may be facing in our daily experience, that sun, that power is available within us. And we can stay rooted in that. Ultimately, what it's all about, this ancient wisdom, this tuning into the land, this tuning into the powerful sources of nature all around us, and so allowing ourselves to feel that in ourselves, is a full, whole heart. The last thing I want to talk about is how much power is available when you truly face it, the challenges you face, then transcend it, as opposed to running away. I've transcended psychosis and found that all the energy in that mental illness was just creativity that was trying to come out of me. And the more and more I let go of my fears, let go of my fears, let go of my fears in so many different ways, not just one way, the more that I held that space to allow new light to come through, the more has been revealed of how much power is available when the fears are let go of. So I believe that not just this virus, but any sense of powerlessness that we may be facing is an opportunity to wake up to how powerful we all truly are within. And in so doing, form a true fortified connection with our own inner sun. So we'll be able to see our true power go viral, well beyond what fear and mass hysteria can do. And then we'll see that this is possible to transform this through miracles. I believe that what we're experiencing is simply showing us how globally connected we are. It's just about flipping the switch. If the shade of it is feeling in fear of others, feeling we have to avoid everyone, then the light is how we now have the opportunity to be more connected and loving than ever. If we allow ourselves to transform those pains within ourselves and let them go. Because what we are just carriers. We're carriers of expression, of information, of the light. We're not meant to own or to hold on to, but to feel good as things move through us. Remember, our only job is to let go of the fear, not hold on to it. And from that place, our true power arises. And therefore, how we can respond, grow, and move into a powerful place, that alignment to our inner sun. So throughout this, I do believe it is important to take the most powerful precautionary measures that you can. But I also believe that the way through this is for us to consistently find that sun within ourselves so that we can fully transform that energy and that fear. This is what is available, not just with this virus, but in any of our deepest challenges. More and more power. But first, We have to go within and face what is keeping us distanced from that inner sun, that inner power within ourselves. So our true place of power is doing it as light as a feather. Not look at what's not happening, but look at what is happening. Look at what is unfolding. It's the feeling of coming forward as opposed to feeling seated back and lost in yourself, and finding the gift in you stepping forward, that is being present to yourself and witnessing those challenges and choosing to be the light regardless of what may be in your experience. To believe that the world is turning around for you. To be careful and considered in your movements. That is, set intentions, make that space and tune into your sun. Now more than ever, more consistently, wherever you may travel or wherever you may be. This is the way you can stay attuned to your personal power. Intention, consistent space, and tune into your sun. And to remember, at the core of all this, it's all just a movie. So as I move forward and I tune into myself through everything we may be facing as a global community, I'm choosing to see that there is a purpose to everything that occurs, or that simply we can choose to see a purpose in everything that occurs. And for me, this virus and any sense of powerlessness is just an opportunity for a deeper and more profound global love to emerge. That's what I'm going to stay tuned to, and that is what I'm going to continue to allow to come forward for me, whatever I might personally face in my experience. This was a really big episode for me, and the fears that I've faced, like everyone else, do feel very real. And the experience of feeling like I can't go out, I can't travel, I can't move around as I used to is as real for me as it is for everyone else. But I do know that whatever my experience might show me, or whatever I may experience, I'm going to choose to see that it has a reason for being there and it has something to teach me. So I really hope you're well, and I wish you the very, very best in your journey forward, in finding that power within you and allowing miracles to emerge through yourself. I can't wait to see what all of you are going to produce and bring forward into this world as you step forward, connected so deeply to your internal sun. And I want to say thank you so much for listening to this podcast. In a world where we are experiencing so much conversation and fear, I want to say that it is so vital and important that we make true power go viral. So if there is anyone that you know that will benefit from this podcast and listening to this, tapping into themselves and bringing that forward, remembering that that is the miracle, that is the solution, our light within ourselves, then please forward this podcast onto them. This is how we make true power go viral. We step forward and allow it to be shared, trusting in that. So that was today's episode, all about power. And to me, it's actually one of the most powerful episodes of this series. I wish you guys all the best, and I'm sending you so much love through this time. And I can't wait to see you again at the next podcast. Thank you, I love you, and I'll see you again.